The Long Walk is the brand new movie that just hit theaters this past weekend from Lionsgate. The film is directed by Francis Lawrence, who has directed the last four entries into the Hunger Games franchise, and the film is based off of a Stephen King novel. This film takes place in a different America, basically, at a point where there have been multiple wars, and America has gotten in their workforce extremely lazy after this particular war. So, in order to inspire American citizens, the government created this thing called the Long Walk, where a group of really 18 to 21-year-olds do this long walk. They have to stay around 3 miles an hour and last all the way until there's one man standing. But it's not that easy, as whoever gets multiple warnings, they are shot on sight. The two lead characters is Raymond Garrity, who's played by Cooper Hoffman, who's doing this to get some money after his father passed away. His mother in the movie is Ginny, played by Judy Greer. David Johnson's in the other co-leading role as Peter McVries, someone who is an orphan and looking to inspire people as well on this long walk. And also in the movie is Mark Hamill as the major, the one who is instructing all these people as they are on the long walk. The film is an hour and 48 minutes and is rated R. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new review here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Denenberg. If you're new, guys, to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I do movie, TV show reviews, out-of-theater reactions, movie franchise rankings, and every Monday, a box office breakdown show. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on The Long Walk? First of all, have you read the novel? Second, if you watched the movie, did you like it? Did you not like it? If you've not seen it, tell me, are you going to check this one out in theaters or wait for this one to come at home? Let me know. Love talking with you guys. As always, also, please hit that thumbs up button. So I was very excited for this movie. Really like the trailers for this movie. And these two lead actors I've seen in many things outside of The Long Walk, know how they're the coming up and coming actors that a lot of people are going to be watching out for. And let's get into my thoughts on The Long Walk. And overall, I think this is a very effective thriller where this movie has a really tough job because really for the entire movie we are on the long walk. For like 99% of this movie, it is the long walk where characters are walking, talking, characters are maybe getting sick and getting shot. There's a lot of it is just the long walk, and that is a really tough job from a writing perspective, is to keep up the intensity, the character development, and make it not boring, because the characters are just walking and talking for an hour and 48 minutes of this runtime. But what makes this film really good is there's some really interesting twists and turns, really good performances, and some excellent twists and turns thrown into the mix. Now, what makes this film really essential are the two key performances of the film, which are Cooper Hoffman as Raymond Garrity and David Johnson as Peter McVries. Hoffman is excellent here. You can really feel his resentment for kind of being in the situation, and you understand once you understand why he wants to win the prize and what he wants to do with it, you can really understand his perspective on it. Even though him and Judy Greer as his mother don't get tons of screen time together, you really do buy in to their mother-son relationship. And you really feel the humanity of you can put yourself in Judy Greer's shoes. What if your kid was among the people in the long walk? I mean, you also can imagine putting yourself in the kid's shoes and understanding what his life is, what he wants his mom, and his life to be after the long walk. I think they do a really good job showing the humanity in this mother and son relationship. And then David Johnson, who I loved in Alien Romulus last year, is also really excellent here. He has so much charisma. And I think a lot of people didn't understand that after Alien Romulus because he played a synthetic, like a robot, basically, for people not in the Alien know-how in Alien Romulus. And you really can't show the charisma that you can when you're not playing a robot. And he is very entertaining. He brings out a lot of the comedy in the movie, but when he needs to get serious, he can get quite serious. And once these two guys become friends, he thinks that they're more as brothers than friends. And he looks at each moment as a moment, not really thinking about the next day or anything like that. Also, the movie is, I said, very intense for the majority of the runtime. because this film is very brutal. The way I would put it is like kind of the hard R version and the brutality version of Stand By Me. This is definitely a coming of age story, but even though these are basically 18 to 20-year olds, this film is not afraid. Everyone that dies gets a very violent, shocking death in the movie. They are not afraid. Sometimes there was a point where I was like, they're about to shoot this, they're really close to a gun to someone's head, and you're at a point where it feels like they're going to pull away, but they do not. They really let you sit in the violence that is the long walk, because if you get these three warnings and then that's it for you, you get your ticket, as they say. And this movie is a very hard R. It is very violent, very grotesque as these deaths happen. And that leaves you with that shock value. And it makes you very nervous as things continue on with the film. But as I said, I was never bored during this film, which is very tough to do as because the characters are just walking for the entire runtime. But the movie has a lot of good character development, some good levity with some comedy and some really human moments, but also it knows when to get very dark and very serious. I think it has some very interesting messages about not just their society, but our society as well. And it makes sense to bring on Francis Lawrence because it very much feels like a Hunger Games situation where a society puts these people nationally televises them as they're trying to inspire people as 80 kids are dying left and right. It's a very Hunger Games style story. Makes sense why Lionsgate hired Francis Lawrence. Now, as I'm going to say, as the movie goes on a negative level, I think it starts running out of ideas how to kill these people off. Very early on, there's a couple different variances of people get sick or injured, or they're tying their shoes, or they're just tired of the long walk. I just think the movie runs out of time. The last couple major deaths towards the end of the movie feel very repetitive, which makes them not hit as hard. They focus so much on this group called the Musketeers in the movie. And I think outside of Raymond and Peter, you really don't care as much about the other members of this group. There's two other people that are not in the Musketeers who are very stereotypical, very cliche. One's kind of a douchebag, and then another person seems very off and very weird. Just very one-note characters out of as the two lead characters are very complex. Around them are very kind of, one-note characters. I'll say the ending itself, I think, is satisfying enough, but it's not this like grand ending. You think after all this build, the movie would hit you really hard at the ending. I think the movie ends on a fine note, but I think there could have been a couple other interesting directions. But overall, I had a very good time with The Long Walk. It's very intense. It's very brutal. Really good performances. Well shot. Movie keeps its intensity for the most part. I just thought I started running out of the wheels started falling off towards the end of the movie. So overall, I'm giving Long Walk a 4 out of 5 stars and 80%. What are your thoughts on The Long Walk? Let me know down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon.